Why do they call it Crab Rangoon? Welcome back, citizens of De Niro Nation, to Our Hero De Niro, the only podcast that's watching and recapping every Robert De Niro film in random order. I'm Mike, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Mike.
No relation.
And back by popular demand, which is a claim that no one who's listening can actually verify. Yeah, sure. I'm sure they did. Is a friend of the pod, former guest of the pod, Philip, a.k.a. Ellipse. Welcome back, Philip.
Thank you.
Welcome
Wonderful
back.
to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
It's such an honor to have you.
Sure.
Nice.
This week, we're getting into the 1973 sports drama Bang the Drum Slowly, directed by John D. Hancock, and based on the novel by Mark Harris. So my question to you, Mike, is what happened to Caroline on this one? Wasn't she supposed to be our literary adaptations consultant?
Yeah, I think she was, but I think Philip called this one really early because it's a baseball movie.
Oh, maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, that's why Philip's here. He really wanted to do the baseball movie.
I do have notes on the literary adaptation, having read the Wikipedia article for this.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so he's bringing the literary adaptations consultant angle as well, so that's great.
Oh, yep. That's excellent. You know, I'm glad that everyone, this is a shared effort. It takes a community to raise a podcast.
You know what? We should have had both Philip and Caroline on this episode. I think that would have been a really funny thing to try. That probably would have been like a dumpster fire.
It's not my responsibility to remind Caroline when these movies are based on novels.
You're right. Yep.
You know, at least we'll have Caroline back for Cape Fear whenever we roll that one.
Very exciting. Hopefully soon.
You always want to burn through the really good movies, the Scorseses and the Ronins and the Heats and what have you. I don't know why that is. We're going to be doing this for so long. That's the difference
between you and me.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't, what's the word for it? Like in behavioral economics, like most humans have a present bias, right? Not a future bias. You have a future bias. I have a present bias. I don't stall pleasure. That's something I do.
A little bit of background on Bang the Drum Slowly. This is very much a small character-driven film with a relatively low budget of $1 million back in the early 70s. It was a modest box office success. I couldn't find any hard numbers about it, but it certainly wasn't a major commercial hit. However, although the sample size is small, it holds around a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it's a movie whose reputation has increased over time. I actually think that up until Field of Dreams, this was considered to be the best baseball movie ever. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
that's neat.
From my research that I did in my duties as host, famously, Roger Ebert gave it a perfect 4-star rating. So I'm curious to hear what all three of us think after we go through the recap and discussion of this film. And of course, this is one of the earliest major roles in Robert De Niro's filmography. He followed this up later in the same year with Mean Streets, so that's quite the double whammy.
It is, yep. And he's great in the role. I'm excited to discuss his performance.
Yeah, and just one little production tidbit. This was filmed at real stadiums. They filmed at the New York Yankees and New York Mets stadiums while the teams were away, which I thought was a pretty neat way to handle the baseball aspects of this film.
I agree. I have to imagine that in the 70s, it would have been extremely challenging to not film a film like this in a real baseball stadium because they didn't have the kind of special effects that we have available to us now. And that would be a crazy soundstage to construct. An entire baseball stadium, that would be insane.
But you would do like Star Wars style matte paintings, you know?
I think that would look really fake.
It'd look really fucking... It'd look like an episode of Star Trek,
I guess
the
that is what
original
you
series.
do, but like that would look so fake. Yeah.
Oh, here's a fun tidbit before we get into my recap. This movie is reportedly a favorite film of Al Pacino. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
That's awesome. What I like about your guys' reactions was that Philip was dead silent, but Mike, for some reason, decided to move several feet away from his microphone as I was relaying that bit of information. So his reaction was a little delayed.
I was always going to make it back.
Like a yo-yo, like a boomerang?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, boomerang doesn't always come back. I mean, here's a question for you guys, actually. Have either of you guys ever successfully thrown a boomerang?
No.
I am so happy this is being brought up. This might be our chance to make it happen.
I mean, I certainly haven't. Have you, Philip?
Well, I have not. My aunt had one. I'm laughing. It was really cool. The coolest thing to be an 8-year-old to see boomerang. I'm laughing because this is supposed to be
it's just a simple yes or no question.
This is supposed to be Mike Bakatsuy's nickname.
Oh yeah, no, we can't tell that story on the pod.
But we can't We can't
I don't
force
think-
it in
I
either.
mean, it's up to us what we talk about on the podcast. Like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. but Mike has the right to veto.
He's getting into
stories
it. He's
about
getting
himself.
into my sexual history, which I don't think is appropriate
we
for the
can't
pod.
talk about that stuff. That's unsavory. I
It's
agree.
too lurid.
Yep.
It's too lurid.
Yep.
You
the
know.
fact that Boomerang was the nickname we wanted to make happen for you.
Listen, do I want to brag about my sexual conquests? Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons why I got into podcasting. But ultimately, it's not appropriate for the topic of this
I love
podcast.
that it's one of the main reasons you got into podcasting, but we're like 80% done with the podcast and you've never done it.
Never once talked about my sexual history on the pod.
Oh, God.
Where were we?
Well, there you go.
moment for
Great answer to my question. Loved the succinctness to it.
Yeah.
I have never thrown a boomerang successfully.
I'm also a no.
Yeah, that's too bad. We can practice this summer, guys. We can go to the old quad. Go to the park, buy a boomerang.
Have you ever tried?
I tried when I was younger, when I was a kid. I think one of my neighborhood friends had a boomerang for some reason, and I don't know how the fuck you throw one of those.
Yeah. Have you ever tried, Philip?
I think I did, decades ago.
Yeah, I tried.
No success.
I couldn't do it. It's fucked up. Yep. So this summer, let's take the Our Hero De Niro throw a boomerang successfully once challenge, and we'll film a vertical video of it and post it on our social media. There we go.
That sounds like a great idea. The sort of great idea that Mike the Fab has that we almost instantly forget by the time the next episode comes out, and then we never follow up on.
I'm gonna write it down actually. So there you go.
What do you say, guys? Should we get into Bang the Drum Slowly?
Let's do it.
Certainly should.
Well, good news for all involved. We get our De Niro face reveal bright and early at 2 minutes and 51 seconds into the film. We get some narration from a character we later learn is Henry Wiggin, played by Michael Moriarty. I have to say, this is my first real exposure to Michael Moriarty, and he was fucking fantastic in this film.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing in the role. I'd never seen him in anything before. I was really struck by his performance. Why do they call him Arthur?
That's a really good question, man.
For the whole movie, they call him Arthur for the whole movie. Please answer this. And then I was reading the Wikipedia article afterward, and I was like, who the fuck is Henry? Like, who's this character?
I know this one immediately.
Okay.
It's a joke that doesn't come off well because, as you're just about to get to, when De Niro's character introduces Henry to his parents, he says, this is Henry, last name, but you can call him Arthur. And the joke is that De Niro's character is such a hillbilly that he doesn't get the joke that his nickname is Author because he wrote a book. So his clubhouse nickname is Author, but De Niro just thinks he's Arthur.
Oh, yeah. I did not pick up on that at all. That is that's an inside baseball for you there. A little baseball pun for you there, too.
Boy.
You got a multi-layer wordplay going on here.
Well, the best jokes are the ones that need to be explained. That's what I always say.
God, Mike knows that better than anyone.
That's why everybody thinks I'm the funny one on the podcast.
Oh, God. So we get some narration from Henry, a.k.a. Arthur, about how his friend is Bruce Pearson, played by the great Robert De Niro. Bruce is dying, and we get some footage of them taking a very long drive. They leave the Mayo Clinic and arrive at Bruce's parents' house in Georgia.
Can we stop here? I don't know when. I don't know when we're going to bring it up, so I'm just going to bring it up now. What do you guys think of De Niro's accent in this movie?
I'll let you go first, Philip.
I didn't have any great thoughts on it, but the thought I did have is like, oh, wow, here he is doing an accent again after I just heard you guys talking about how great you think he is at it. And I thought, oh, this is going to come up again.
You want to answer, Mike? You want me to answer?
I didn't think it was very good. I mean, his performance unintentionally reminded me of Simple Jack a little bit.
I ain't got a good brain.
A lot of Simple Jack references on this podcast so far.
That says more about Robert De Niro's body of work than anything else.
You want to know something?
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly. It kind of made me wonder why his accents are so bad in every other film we've ever seen him do an accent in. I really thought, and maybe he can just do this one. Like maybe it's just one of the ones he can do, but like I thought it sounded totally legit to me as someone who has spent a not insignificant share of my life in places where people talk like this. So I actually thought it was quite good. Honestly, I think his performance is really good in the film.
Did he do many accents in early films?
Not that we've heard, I don't think. I think this is the first early in the filmography accent we've heard.
Maybe he just stopped trying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say,
Yeah, could be. Yep.
He was young and hungry back then. 73.
Yep, could be. Well, anyway, sorry, Mike. I just wanted to bring that up now.
Sure. Later on, Bruce is fishing with Arthur and wants to understand why he's dying, framing it as he wants to know why he received such a raw deal, which is a fair question that doesn't really have an answer. And they mention a card game named Teg War, which they refer to, they talk about a lot in this movie. So that is a fictional card game that was made up for this story. And the rules really make no sense. It's kind of like Calvin Ball in that sense. But I really enjoyed that name, Teg War. It's fun to say. It's fun to write.
It is, yeah.
You said the rules don't make any sense. That's the point, is Teg War is for the exciting game without any rules, is the acronym. There are no rules.
Oh, it's an acronym? Holy shit. It's like NORAD.
Damn, Philip fucking locked in for this movie, dude. He's already shared like two things that neither of us realized. I did not catch that.
They're bullshitting it as they go along, and that's so they can find the marks in the lobby who don't understand the rules of the game because there aren't any rules.
All right, that's fun.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I watched the first hour of this film while I was walking on the treadmill, and I thumb typed my notes on my iPhone, which I'm able to do because my thumb typing is relatively fast, faster than Philip's hand typing on a keyboard. So
True.
I watched it on my TV.
Wow. Very, very lazy coded, man. You should have been walking on a treadmill during the first 2/3.
It's the way whatever the guy who directed this movie intended that it be watched. That's probably how Roger Ebert watched it.
During baseball practice, these guys are members of the fictional New York Mammoths, which is basically like the Yankees in this alternate universe that John D. Hancock has cooked up. Well, actually, no, I guess it's not John D. Hancock. It's whoever wrote the book on which this film is based. But a new catcher prospect rolls up, which is a little sus, as the kids say, because they already have a catcher, Bruce, a.k.a. Robert De Niro, and Arthur is holding out for a larger contract. Later on, he's in a hotel with his wife and Bruce watching TV. He receives an invite to play Teg War, and he tries to bring Bruce along with him, but Joe, the guy who invited him, isn't interested in Bruce's participation. During the Teg War game, Arthur learns that the team is going to release Bruce from the team. Later on, Arthur meets with his boss, who I believe is Dwight. I had a difficult time capturing names early on, but I'm pretty sure this is Dwight, to discuss his contract. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like the other people involved in this shit. I don't know how baseball negotiations work outside of what I've seen in the masterful 2011 film Moneyball. But they offer him $70,000, which he accepts after originally trying to negotiate for $120. But he says he wants a clause added that he and Bruce will stay together or go together. So if they trade or release Bruce, they would have to trade or release him as well. They call in a guy named Dutch. So Dutch is the manager, and Dutch reluctantly agrees to this clause.
This feels like an exciting opportunity to bring in our guest, Philip, a.k.a. Lips, who it seems might be well equipped to explain some of the ways that baseball, especially its kind of free agency status in the 70s, differed from modern baseball, because this all probably seems kind of absurd to a modern baseball fan that this is the way player contract negotiations were in the 70s, but this is what they were really like.
I think this is closer to modern age than just before. I can't forget what the exact year was, but there was a guy on the St. Louis Cardinals named Curt Flood, and he was being traded to the Phillies, and he didn't want to go. And he was the first person to refuse an assignment like that. And he actually just chose to sit out instead, and it led to a huge labor uprising as other people have followed, because for the previous 100 years of baseball, each athlete was just sort of the property of the team and could be sent wherever. And he was kind of the start of collective bargaining power in the game. And it was the 70s, so it was certainly around there at some point.
Okay. I just feel like you got to the point that I wanted you to make. I mean, listen, I knew that. I wanted to give you the chance to say it, but you did it in such a roundabout fashion. Yes, the point is players were much more locked into contracts with their teams in earlier eras of baseball management than they are now. And so this kind of like, the relationship between the players and team management, it has an almost predatory dimension to it in this film, which is not the way we think of the relationships that baseball players have with their clubs these days. Players have a lot of clout in contract negotiations now in baseball. Do you agree, Philip?
Yes, I do.
All right, great. I thought you were coming as like the baseball guy. I thought these would be the kinds of things that you would explain. I don't know very much about baseball.
Lots of baseball stuff.
I mean, what does it matter? This movie is barely about baseball when you get down to it.
That's why he wanted to be on the episode. I agree. It's only nominally about baseball, but like he's here as the baseball expert. Like we have to create space for that.
Yeah. When he comes back for Joker, he's going to be our resident Joker expert.
In that scene, the contract scene that they're talking about, there is a gay slur used in there. And
will you say it out loud, please?
It's the F slur, but not the one you're thinking of right now. The older one.
The lesser one.
Yeah.
And it allows me to throw in the fun baseball fact that this movie was 1973. The first openly gay baseball player was named Glenn Burke. He debuted for the Dodgers in 1976.
Oh, wow.
Was he openly gay at the time?
Yes.
Really? What was that like?
Yeah, you should ask Glenn Burke.
The teammates knew he was, but it wasn't publicly known.
Okay, so it wasn't like something the public knew. Okay, gotcha. Right. Were his teammates cool with it?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
That seems early. I'm surprised to hear that there was an openly gay athlete in such a major sport like 50 years ago.
1 or 2 cents in baseball.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cool. Good fact.
Later on, Arthur's out having a drink with a lady at a classy bar. Her name is Katie, and we learn that she is Bruce's partner. And apparently Bruce has suggested that he and Katie get married under this vague notion that it might pay off later. And she wants to know what Bruce meant by that, but Arthur plays coy, and then Bruce and Katie dance. So this is interesting. We learn later in the film that Arthur has a side gig selling insurance. And I guess I don't know much about baseball in general, let alone 50 years ago, but it's my understanding that before the game became really hyper commercialized, it was pretty common for players to have second jobs, which is so fascinating to me. The thought of like watching someone play in the New York Yankees or the Mammoths in this fictional case, and then just buying insurance from them.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of analogous to me to the NCAA in a way that I think is really funny. Like you think about like when I lived in Gainesville, like I knew people like Andrew, former guest of the pod, friend of the pod, Andrew, like knows Tim Tebow in real life. They went to college together, and Tim Tebow was a star football player on television because he played for a D1 football team, and he was just in class with other kids. Like, it's like very odd. Like, we don't really have that in pro sports anymore, but we do to a certain extent still have that experience where like super famous NCAA athletes are just like in the world with you, like engaging in normal life in a way that's banal. It's strange. I thought Philip might mention that when I teed him up to talk about the ways baseball.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I thought Philip might mention that, so I made sure to cut in first.
Go ahead, Philip. You have anything you'd like to add?
I think Henry's job as insurance salesman, it's that type of sort of extroverted people connection job that baseball players had back then, and you'll see even now post-retirement guys will be realtors, they'll be politicians, they'll be the kind of gigs you get from knowing people and being used to the spotlight.
Yeah, one of the two major Republican gubernatorial candidates in the California election this year. In case you both aren't aware, and I'm certain some of our listeners aren't, California has a really interesting gubernatorial primary system where the top two performers in the primary, regardless of party, advance. So they field competitive Republican candidates, even though a Republican would never win the general, in the hopes that two Republicans will win the primary somehow. One of the two main Republican gubernatorial candidates is an ex-NBA player. The pro sports to politics pipeline is like, it's not the most explored pipeline, but it definitely makes sense, right? The kind of like bombastic personality you cultivate being a pro athlete.
Well, before we move on, guys, I want to raise something to the group because, we learn about Bruce's his seduction technique here, his proposal to Katie is, you should get married to me because it might pay off for you down the road. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And how successful do you think that would be? Let's say, hypothetical situation. You are single. You have received a terminal illness diagnosis. You have some money to your name. Do you just try throwing that out there as a pickup technique? Do you go to the club and just sort of like tap on a lady's shoulder and go like, hey, I have about 6 months left and you only have to put up with me for that long, but then you get everything. You think that'd work?
I'd give it a try.
I think if you were direct, I think it would work a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't it?
Why not?
Honestly, you'd probably go viral on Twitter or TikTok, making a post about that situation.
Yeah, you'd find somebody hot to marry you. For
yeah.
Sure.
Listen, all you got to do is rub my mound for 6 months and then you get my entire fortune.
Right. But does he have a fortune in the film?
No, I don't think any of them do.
Yeah.
No, he's got a life insurance policy.
Oh,
it's a life insurance policy. That's what
yeah.
it is. Okay, yeah, that explains.
Cha-ching.
Okay.
So we get some baseball game footage and we learn from Arthur's narration that the team is good, but they've been arguing amongst each other more and more. And some players rag on Bruce for chewing tobacco and not being stylish. Obviously, we're getting a classic boyish De Niro look in this film. He has some medium length hair that's kind of tousled back. And he is always chewing tobacco in this film. Every fucking scene, the guy just has a wad of tobacco in his mouth.
He does. I alluded to it earlier.
Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that part, though.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to keep it or not.
I don't know.
Do you think it's too offensive?
I just thought someone would say something. I don't know. I think we need to get Bruce some Nicorette gum. I just wish it had existed back then. Then maybe he wouldn't have.
Shit, you're right. I'm sorry. Do you want to do it again? I should have said it.
Cancer. Jesus Christ. Sure. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. He's always chewing tobacco. He always has a wad of tobacco in his mouth.
You kind of got this guy stick a Nicorette gum.
I don't know if tobacco quitting technology we had Nicorette back then in the early 70s.
They knew that tobacco products were bad in the 70s, right? Like, I think that became knowledge clinically in the 50s or 60s, I think, didn't it? But it didn't become popularly recognized in a meaningful way, I don't think, really until the 80s, right? But they knew in the early 70s that it was unhealthy.
On Mad Men, they talked about it.
There you go. I've never watched the show.
That's my recommendation.
You're going to recommend the entirety of Mad Men? It's like 7 seasons long.
Season 2, episode 7, the baseball episode.
Oh, okay. Oh my God,
that would be a recommendation, honestly. Yeah.
There's a baseball episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Take me out to the Hollow Suite.
You can still do it.
No, I can't. It has to be a movie. This is a movie podcast.
All right, Niners, I see some chatter.
Hey, batter, 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 batter. Hey, batter, 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 batter.
Steps to the opposition. Hey, batter, swing.
I'm not going to let you drag me into your deep, dark underworld of TV and other non-film recommendations on this podcast.
It's all art, baby.
Later on, Arthur's talking to his coach, I think Dwight, in the locker room. I know who Dwight is. Dwight's the manager.
Talking about Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Right? From The Office.
It was never clear to me who Joe was. They're similarly aged
He's
men.
just another coach.
Okay.
And it gives me the opportunity to mention with Joe, I like the character of Joe because he carries on the fine baseball tradition of having ugly Italian men in the clubhouse.
It's not nice to call them ugly.
Tradition.
Yeah. It's nice. It's inclusive.
Yeah.
I might be an ugly Italian man someday.
Yeah. Sure.
Any one of us could be. Yeah.
I'm only half Italian.
We have good odds of it.
Yeah. I think odds are very good. At least one of us will be ugly someday. So there you go. I think that's a powerful representation.
Yeah.
Or at least one of our future selves.
Well, later Arthur's talking to one of these people, either Joe or Dwight, in the locker room, and the coach asks him about his trip from Georgia to Chicago. Now, this is the trip that we saw footage of at the beginning of the film, which is when we saw Bruce going to the hospital about his diagnosis and then visiting his family. They treated it as a road trip. And Arthur comes up with some bullshit alibi or excuse, and the coach can tell that he's full of shit. So this is something that's going to be a recurring plot point in the film. And Arthur talks to a guy he name dropped during that conversation later on to try and figure out what the coach knows. They mentioned Rochester, but sadly it's the Minnesota one, not the New York one.
I too was really disappointed.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He said Rochester, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Perked up, yeah, locked in.
It's like a celebrity sighting, like in the film. Yep.
We get some more narration from Arthur about the team's performance. They were doing well early on, but they're kind of floating. They're in a holding pattern. Arthur talks to Dutch again, and Arthur makes up this total fabrication about having an affair with an airline stewardess, and that's why he was on that trip from Atlanta to Chicago or whatever. Dwight calls Bruce in and questions him about Minnesota. He doubts them both, but it's inconclusive, and he kicks them out of his office. Bruce asks Arthur how he can change his beneficiary to Katie because she's now willing to marry him. So the gambit worked, the hard sell worked, and Arthur says he's going to take care of it, but he's not really going to take care of it. He's looking out for his very dumb friend Bruce. And at the hotel, Joe wants to play tag war with Arthur, but Arthur refuses to without Bruce, who's asleep nearby in the lobby. Later on, Dutch gives a speech to the team in the locker room, and we get more information about how the club, they call them clubs, the teams in baseball parlance. The club has been fighting with each other too much. That's a little bit so I learned that watching 2011's Moneyball.
Was this the buzzing fly scene?
I don't know what you're talking about.
In one of the scenes, he talks about there's a buzzing fly around. He's giving the speech to the team. He wants to snatch it out of the air.
I don't remember that.
Did anyone else watch this movie?
I was on the treadmill. You ever snatch a fly out of the air with your hand?
No.
Neither have I. I feel like are they dirty? Do they carry bacteria and such?
Oh, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, flies are filthy.
Yeah.
It's one of the most disgusting things.
Yeah,
they're
it's
filled
bad.
with shit.
They don't live long enough to accumulate that kind of stuff.
What are you talking about?
Famous last words before Philip dies of malaria.
Grabbing a fly and crushing it in your hands is like one of the dirtiest things you can do. Like, they're incredible pathogenic vectors. I would not grab a fly like that. Although, do you remember that video of Obama grabbing the fly? That was so cool.
Yeah. R.I.P. Obama. We didn't know what we had. I guess
he's still alive.
Yeah. Speaking of dirty things, maybe a couple of years ago, I don't know why the thought struck me because I was cleaning my bathroom and I thought, how often are you supposed to replace a toilet brush? So I Googled it, I looked it up, and Google's autocomplete, whatever, it said you're supposed to replace a toilet brush once every 3 months. And I thought that was such a crazy coincidence because I hadn't replaced mine in 3 years. So I did buy a new toilet brush at that point. Now I know better.
Yeah. You put this on the podcast because I think it's a very normal thing, even though apparently it's disgusting. But we bought a toilet brush when we moved into this house 8 years ago, and I've never even thought about replacing it.
It's load bearing.
It never occurred to me that you would replace a toilet brush. I mean, it gets soapy. It's never in shit without like the toilet cleaner. Like it's getting cleaned off ambiently as part of the process.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like those flies. You would not want to grab your 8-year-old toilet brush with your bare hand.
I would never grab my toilet. I would never grab a 1-day-old toilet brush with my bare hands.
Philip would grab a 1-day-old fucking fly. He'd get malaria from that thing. He'd be patient
they're all
zero.
1-day-old.
Yeah, I know.
They die in like 36 hours, but they absorb a lot of malaria while they're living a 36-hour life.
It'll be a great I told you so moment for you guys.
When you die of malaria?
If you die of malaria, Philip, I'm going to be way too sad to say I told you so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give me like a year or two. I'll make jokes about it after a year or two, but I'll be in mourning for a little while.
I think I would say it to you as I throw some flowers onto your body in the open casket. It'd be mournfully though. I'd be like, I told you so. And then I would have to turn away as a tear streams down my cheek.
And I'll nod and say you did.
In the dugout, an older teammate talks to Arthur, and Arthur asks the guy to lay off Bruce because people have been ragging on Bruce. And he convinces his teammate to lay off Bruce by telling him that Bruce is dying, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think I would have told the teammate. I don't really think it was his place to tell anyone. And he's like, oh, keep it to yourself. But no one would ever keep that to themselves. They're on a professional baseball team.
Yeah. He tells someone else like in the next scene.
It's like immediately. Yeah.
I think we're about halfway through the film now, so I don't think you're going to mention it, which is kind of funny, honestly. So I do want to take a moment here just to describe the cinematography, direction, and music in this film, because I think it's important context. Because to your earlier comment, this is a baseball film nominally, but it's really a melodrama. So it has very naturalistic cinematography, very kind of steady, not worth commenting on direction, and a really melodramatic weeping strings, almost like TV movie-esque score. This is a melodrama. That is the tone of the film.
I think it's interesting of you to assume that I would not bring up the film's direction, cinematography, and music, as I have during all of my recaps throughout the podcast's history.
I gave you half of the recap.
He's fucking timing
I think
me.
it's important context
timer.
during the recap. It's important context during the recap as you talk about the happenings of the film. It's a melodrama. It's not like Moneyball. It doesn't feel like Moneyball.
No, it does not.
It feels like the recommendation I'm going to make during the recommendation section of this episode.
Oh my God. I wish I could predict what insane fucking film you're gonna predict. You're gonna recommend at the end of this one.
We're all gonna laugh.
Sure. Yeah. So later, these professional baseball players, it was the 70s. They split hotel rooms. They get the 2 queen rooms. So Arthur is rooming with Bruce, and Bruce wakes up in the middle of the night. They think it's a health scare. So they call, a doctor in for help. The teammate that was previously told about this tells another teammate. So people are starting to learn about the whole terminal illness thing. But fortunately, the doctor in this case doesn't think it's a big deal. So everything seems to be okay for now. It is revealed later in the film, but I may as well just mention it now, that what Bruce has is Hodgkin's lymphoma, which I think was much less well understood back in the early 70s than it is now.
I think it's still quite a bad cancer to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember there was a whole Curb episode about good Hodgkin's versus bad Hodgkin's.
Well, I think they're both bad.
Yeah, I think that was the point that was made.
It's the worst one to have,
episode.
but I think they're both bad. Yeah.
I found it strange that they just took the whole movie to say it at the end when we knew he was ill. I thought they just weren't going to say anything at all for some reason.
I was kind of surprised too.
In this scene with the hotel, this is where we got the other local shout out. Henry says something about contact my wife in Perkinsville, New York. Perkinsville, New York is right outside Wayland, right here in our lovely southern tier.
Oh, wow.
That was a nice,
beautiful
shout out.
He should have been from the southern tier of New York. It's very culturally similar to rural Georgia.
Yes.
Well, back on track with this here recap, Dutch brings Arthur into his office again, and this time a detective is there. They learned that Bruce went to the hospital in Atlanta and then to another one in Minnesota. So Arthur, the sharp guy that he is, comes up with another fabrication implying that Bruce got the clap and wanted it treated away from Atlanta. So Bruce is called in and he's ordered to drop trow so as to expose his potentially disease-ridden penis to everyone in the room.
It was just to the team doctor, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Everybody else looked away. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess they did. I guess they weren't.
Yeah, it was for a medical examination. They called the doctor in and everybody else respectively looked away.
Well, sure. I mean, of course, Arthur's going to look away. He already knows that Bruce doesn't have a fucked up diseased penis.
They all looked away.
Oh, okay.
I noted. Because I was just thinking in this scene, I reflected on how bizarre this is. This would never happen now with sensitivity and confidentiality about healthcare related stuff. So what I was reflecting on while I was watching it is well, how would I have felt, And I think, since everybody looked away, it probably wouldn't be that bad. I still wouldn't like it that we were airing my, my gonorrhea or whatever issue I have in the clubhouse locker room, but at least nobody's looking at my diseased penis.
Well, in the movie, he's a Vietnam veteran, so I'm sure he's been through worse than that.
True. Yeah.
So the alibi passes muster, but Dutch still doesn't fully believe them. So he's going to keep pulling on this thread.
The scene with Dutch, who I saw got a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this, which I thought was well-deserved. He's got a funny line in here. He says to the detective, never mind the facts, give me the details.
Oh, that was good. I liked that line. There were some lines in here that I liked. We get some more Arthur baseball narration. Apparently, Bruce has been playing relatively well, and we see a scene where Arthur meets privately with Bruce's girlfriend, Katie, or fiance, I guess, if you want to say. And apparently, he has been writing fake letters for some reason that have been preventing her from becoming Bruce's beneficiary. So she's threatening to expose him for this illegal behavior, but he counters her by saying that he could sell her up the river for some sort of answering service that she runs. I think I might be too disconnected from this time because I don't know what that means by answering service. Is this like some sort of sex work thing?
I assumed it was like a 900 line. Yeah, like a 900 sex line.
Okay. I do remember way back when watching like TV very late, you get the infomercials for those 900
those, like
numbers.
900 numbers, like charge per minute. Yep.
Busty 90s chicks are just laying on the bed, twirling their hair, waiting to receive a call from you, the fat loser who's watching TV at 2 a.m, looking to get his rocks off.
That's what Punch Drunk Love is about.
Oh, that's right. You didn't like that movie, though.
I didn't really like it that much. No,
I thought it was
happy I watched it.
Yeah.
I think answering service refers to call girls.
Really? Okay.
Oh,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Call in, get the pimp operator, and they send somebody out.
This film is following the team over the course of a season of baseball. So it's August now, and Bruce's father visits New York City, the Big Apple, and we get some baseball footage. This film, we want to talk about cinematography. Mike already beat me to the punch, apparently, but it also, not only did they shoot some sequences at the actual stadiums, but they also used some just like actual footage of professional baseball games, which I think is a smart way for them to be able to film some of those or include some of those like baseball scenes without having to go through the process and logistics of setting up like a fake game to record.
Yeah, this is an artful and competently made film on a very small budget. It's pretty cool.
There you go. Slap that on the DVD box art.
Kidding me? Can you imagine? I feel like, honestly, that would be the ultimate mark of success for us on this podcast. Like, I don't give a fuck about like getting a lot of listeners or like making money or anything like that. Like, that would all be nice, whatever. But I would love to have one pull quote, like on one Apple TV store page for a movie or like one Blu-ray or DVD box or something like Mike and Mike, Our Hero De Niro. I think that would be so cool.
That would be really cool. I think the ultimate mark of success for this podcast for me would be to be able to meet Robert De Niro.
Yes, that would also be a really, really good one. But there's, that's not durable,
That's
like,
true.
We're going to die and not remember that, But if we end up on that DVD box art, they like if future alien archaeologists 1,000 years from now could find that, would be like, God, who are these insightful Mike and Mike, the insightful Mikes from Our Hero De Niro? Those guys seem brilliant.
Well, speaking of New York City, in New York City, they have the street vendors who have all of the like bootleg DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think we need to include some bootleg Blu-rays and DVDs that have fake box art that has quotes from us on them.
That's such a good idea. I love this idea. Yeah.
I think the ultimate mark of success would be if you guys got Nicorette to do a little in-podcast sponsorship.
I'll fucking do it. I will take up
God, are you kidding me?
a
I'll pay
smoking
that.
habit just to get on Nicorette, just to justify that sponsorship. I'll be able to say, listen, guys, it's great. I use it myself.
That is such a good idea. Hey, Nicorette Company, guys, I will start smoking like a pack a day. If you guys agree that after we do that for a couple months, that you'll like do a whole thing with us where we use Nicorette gum to quit. I think that would be an incredibly funny bit for the podcast.
Use us for content. I'd be in their fucking short form videos. It'd be very funny if I got addicted to Nicorette, though.
Yeah, that would be. Honestly, that for me, that's the ultimate mark of success. Would be if you became addicted to nicotine via Nicorette gum, not smoking or Zyn or any of the things that normal people do, vaping.
It'd be funnier than me getting malaria.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I think it would be funnier because there's only a small likelihood that smoking would kill you, Mike, if you got addicted to nicotine. I think if Philip got malaria, there's a really high likelihood that he would die.
I'm just imagining, like Scarface in that famous scene from the movie where he has a pile of cocaine in front of him on his desk. I'd be just like that, but with a bunch of boxes of Nicorette gum.
Making all your Our Hero De Niro dollars, $10 bills.
Yeah. Fucking rolling in it from this podcast. Bruce's dad has a conversation with Arthur in the annals of the stadium. I don't know what you call those hallways. Do you just call them hallways?
Always.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. No, there's got to be a word for it, but I don't know what it is.
That's sad.
I think tunnels.
Tunnels.
Tunnels sounds right. Yep, tunnels
Okay.
sounds right. Yep.
And Bruce's dad holds on to this hope that Bruce really isn't sick because he's been playing baseball so well. And he says, that he never curses, but he makes an exception to say that his son has been handed a real shit deal. And, it's a very sad, touching moment. And afterwards, Arthur goes into the locker room and just goes fucking ape shit, throws a tantrum. Obviously you have to have a tantrum scene in a baseball film. We had one in Moneyball decades later. We have one here. And there's some guy he's like some idiot lackey for the management team. I do not remember his name. But he's just hanging out like normally in the locker room. And when Arthur starts going ape shit and just destroying everything in his locker, the guy's just like, hey, what are you doing? Stop that. Until Arthur finally like throws something in his direction and then he runs out of the room. I thought it was pretty funny how he just like was totally incapable of picking up on the vibe in that moment. Like, listen, you got to let the guy blow off some steam. That's what the locker room is there for.
It's true. I had a question for you guys. You guys cried all during this movie?
No, I thought I was going to. I thought it was leading up to it, and I did not.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I did not. I came very close to tearing up later in the film, but I didn't. I didn't quite get there. Yes, I didn't quite climax, if you will.
Yeah. I had 3 small tears in this film, and so this is a small tear tag for me on my letterbox
3 small
log.
tears, or are you like a Native American watching someone discard garbage on the floor in a 1990s advertisement?
So this was one of my small tear moments. It wasn't actually his freak out in the locker room. It was his conversation with his dad. I thought that was really sad.
Oof. Yeah.
And there was a scene earlier in the film when Bruce is having one of his health scares when he asks Arthur if he thinks that the other teammates know he's dying, and Arthur says everybody knows everybody's dying. That's why people is so good. And then there's one other part later in the film that I'll describe, which may be the part that almost made you cry. Mike.
Thank you for Rochambeauing that.
This scene could have had the potential to make me cry because when he says shit deal or raw deal, it's a reference.
You reminded me of something. Go ahead.
It's they're referencing the famous speech from Lou Gehrig when he was dying of Lou Gehrig's disease, and he had to retire early after an incredible Hall of Fame career. He gave a speech at Yankee Stadium where he famously uses the line saying, "I've been given a bad deal." And I'm pretty sure that's a direct reference to it. And it's kind of weird watching this movie that is guys in a Yankees uniform talking about a Yankee athlete playing while dying when that is one of the most famous stories in baseball history.
Was that before or after this movie came out?
It was before. It was 30s.
Before? Okay. Oh, okay. So that was probably
and after the book came out.
A direct inspiration for the film. Got you. Okay.
Absolutely.
What a crazy coincidence that Lou Gehrig died of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Absolutely.
God, I almost made that joke, and I was like, it's too fucking stupid. Like the version of it I was going to say that I think is actually funnier than the one that you said.
Can't wait to hear it.
I was going to say it was so strange that Lou Gehrig's parents named him after a disease.
I won't cry for this movie, and I won't laugh for these jokes.
You get 0 points for that, Mike, because you didn't make the joke during the appropriate time.
You're fair. I agree.
Nobody gets any
listen,
points.
You're going to do the edit. You can cut it out if you want to. You don't even have to let me say it on the air.
I've been doing yoga. I'm comfortable picking up that low hanging fruit. No, the reason I laughed while Philip was the reason why I laughed when Philip was talking was because you reminded me, Philip. You said something to the effect of I could have cried, but, and it just reminded me of Philip and I recently attended the Rochester International Film Festival, which is a collection of, it's basically like 4 nights. It's 4 showtimes, and each showtime is 7 different short films from all around the world. And it's a really fun way to see a bunch of things you would never normally be exposed to. One of the shorts we saw the night that we went together was a 2025 short called I Wanted to Hear Your Voice, directed by James Pellerito. And it's a short documentary about his relationship with his mom, who is dying from dementia. So she has very advanced dementia. And we basically, over the course of 10 or so minutes, watch him taking care of his mother. And it seems like a very lonely, isolated, tragic existence for both of them, although you can certainly see the love between them. And interspersed throughout, he plays voicemails that he saved from his mom, which is basically just shows the progression of the disease. And at the end of the film festival, each night, they give you a little ballot in the program where you can rank your top three, vote on your top three favorites that they use to determine the best of the fest. And Philip and I had totally different votes for our favorites from that night. And mine by far was this short, I wanted to hear your voice. And I was talking to Philip about it, and I said, like, I was crying, like tears were streaming down my face, and I was trying very hard to not be audible.
It's a big tear.
Oh, absolutely. It made the list. It made my Letterboxd list, films that made me cry or tear up. And Philip said that it didn't make him cry. And his rationale or explanation was that he basically just decided to shut his emotions off when that one started up. And I thought that was so funny.
That's what the filmmaker intended. Yep.
It's what I tell my clients. Just try shutting your emotions off, you know?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
During films?
It's a bad advice, I think. Even as a therapist, I think that sounds like bad advice.
Yeah, probably.
Joe comes into Arthur's hotel room and explains that he knows what's happening with Bruce now. Apparently, one of the teammates told Joe on the airplane because Joe's being a dick to Bruce. So this character Goose, this teammate Goose, told Joe on the sly, like, hey, let up on this guy. He's dying of a terminal illness. So the news is really spreading far and wide at this point.
Goose, played by Danny Aiello. Am I saying his name right?
It was an early role for him.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that was him.
Made me wish that you hadn't already recommended Do the Right Thing, because I probably would have recommended it based on that relationship.
Well, nobody's recommended Moneyball yet, so that's free and clear for you.
But to be fair to you, Mike, I probably wouldn't have watched that film by now if you hadn't recommended it. So that was, as we all heard a couple months ago on Recommendation Station, that was one of my favorites of Mike's recommendations.
Yeah, what a blessing in disguise Recommendation Station, our 70th episode spectacular was. It got Mike to watch some incredible movies that I'd recommended over the course of this pod. That's why I do it. I want to expose people to great art. You know, that's why I'm a podcaster. Number one reason why I'm a podcaster, to expose people to great art. Number two reason why I'm a podcaster, to talk about my sexual escapades over the years.
Any other reasons?
No, those are just the two.
I can't wait.
It's the only, and three, to maybe meet Robert De Niro.
My number one, number two, and number three reason is to get to have Philip on the podcast a few times.
Yeah, you just did the other 105 episodes around that.
What are you going to do? You know, I mean, you got to spend money to make money. That's what I always say.
That's true.
It's a Truman Show long con, and I'm Truman.
Love the Truman Show. I've already recommended that one, Philip. Sorry to say.
So, now that the jig is up vis-a-vis this whole Bruce having terminal cancer situation, Dutch tells the team that one, they called a guy named Redden to come back to the team. So I guess he used to be a team member, and he no longer he retired. Now he works as an English teacher somewhere. But they called him in urgently to teach the catchers, and they also called this catcher prospect back in. His name is Piney Woods. Certainly one of the more memorable teammates on the team. He was originally dismissed. I think he was going to be Bruce's replacement until Arthur made that gambit, or that clause where he was like, you got to keep Bruce if you keep me. But he's now back on the team as well. So kind of get the sense that we're preparing for Bruce's eventual departure. We get a little scene of Katie again, Bruce's fiance, where she's having dinner with Arthur and some blonde friend of hers. I guess this does lend to your prostitution theory, because it kind of seems like in this scene, Katie is trying to pimp her blonde friend out to Arthur in order to make this beneficiary thing happen, which is, that's kind of weird. Arthur is a married man. He seems to be happily married, and he doesn't seem to like Katie. So I think those two really combine to, prevent him from being swayed by this blonde friend.
His wife's pretty great, despite giving a on-the-lips kiss to De Niro early in the film. I don't know if any of you guys saw that.
I did see that, and it did confuse me for a little while until I realized who she was supposed to be.
The culture of that kind of stuff was different back then, wasn't it?
I guess.
It was in the early 70s, a few years after the free love era. I don't know. I think those kinds of public displays of at least nominally non-sexual public or non-sexual physical affection were less frowned upon culturally.
Should we bring back the on the kiss lips?
Yes, definitely, but we won't. But the fact that we don't do that kind of stuff anymore is both reason and evidence for why the world is fucking garbage and the human race is doomed. We're so much more emotionally repressed than we were 50 years ago, even though we've become so much more progressive on social topics.
I was going to say, I'm pretty happy with us not having kissing on the lips be a social convention in our modern day and age.
I don't want to do it.
You just said you wanted it.
No, I'm wrong, but I'm wrong to not want to do it. Like I'm saying, I think we should bring it back. Like I should feel pressure to do that. It would be better for society and humanity.
And so you're outvoted because, as always, I'm pro lips.
Sure you are. I bet you want to bring free love back too, you fucking hippie.
I don't know which of us you're talking to.
You're talking to Philip, the person who just replied. He's taking the world's longest swig of beer.
Yes, I do. Bring it back. Let's
go. You got to pay for my love, baby. That's what I always say. It's raining at the ballpark, and Piney Woods is playing some music on his guitar in the locker room. And, really, like, playing that acoustic guitar, you know he got a lot of play on the quad in college way back when. And he's playing a song that features the lyric, "Bang the Drum Slowly." I was wondering where that title came from. I wrote in my notes, the song is about a dead cowboy or something. But it is, I believe it's called Streets of Laredo is the actual song title, and Johnny Cash has a rendition of it if you ever want to hear that.
Did you listen to it?
Oh, yes, I did. And, maybe I'll use it as the opening and outro song for this episode, but unfortunately, Cash sings "Beat the Drum Slowly" instead of "Bang the Drum Slowly."
It's fucked up.
Yeah, maybe we can deep fake his voice and replace that one word.
Yeah, the deepfake technology is getting a lot better, you know?
Later that night, Arthur returns to his hotel room, and the players are all in there with Bruce having a celebration. Everyone's drinking and singing together, and it's very, there's a great sense of community. It seems like the team has finally come together and gotten over all of their infighting. Later on, Arthur, Bruce, Joe, and some other random guy are playing tag war for money, so I guess they're duping some rube. And now finally, we learn that it's Labor Day. The team is playing better than they ever were before, so everything is just like really gelling. And a bunch of players, including Arthur and Bruce, perform a song on some kind of variety show. Later on, Bruce and Arthur are in their hotel room, and Bruce feels kind of off, but he doesn't want to get the doctor. He thinks he's going to be okay. He tries calling Katie, and they have a little conversation in which it ends by her hanging up on him after inquiring some more about the beneficiary thing. So she really is a gold digger, and it seems like they're no longer together. In the next scene, they're playing a baseball game, at the park, and Bruce looks kind of off. We really stick with this game for a while, much longer than any of the other prior baseball scenes, and even the ref comments on how Bruce isn't looking so good, but he keeps playing.
Umpire.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Listen, man, I only know what I've learned from watching Moneyball, okay? Arthur strikes a guy out, and then they return to the dugout, and Bruce is up to hit. He manages to make first base. Game goes on. Bruce looks rough. Eventually, a pop fly is hit, and Arthur catches it, winning the game. And the next scene, we're nearly wrapping up here. Arthur, Joe, and Red pick up Bruce from the hospital and help get him dressed. Seems like some time has passed here. Arthur goes to get Bruce's shoes and struggles to keep it together. Now we're at the conclusion of the film, the last scene, and it looks like Bruce is going to get on an airplane. So Arthur is saying goodbye to him at the gate before he walks out of the airplane, and Bruce says goodbye to him and thanks him. He says he's going to be healthy for spring training, and we all know that this is not true. He's going to be dead. So it's a very sad beat. Bruce gets on the plane, and we get some closing narration from Arthur while he walks through a cemetery, talking about how he was a pallbearer at Bruce's funeral. And he commits to, he says, "From here on in, I rag nobody." And that is how the movie ends.
Well, he also says in the scene that nobody else from the club came.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They sent flowers.
Yeah, it's thematically important.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that it is. And with that, it's time for us to hop into our final ratings of Bang the Drum Slowly. And of course, we have to start with our guest, friend of the pod, guest of the pod, Philip, a.k.a. Ellipse. Buddy, what did you think of Bang the Drum Slowly?
Well, our listeners can't see, but as he prepared to give his final thoughts, he picked up a sheaf of 15 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and moved it over under him. So he's got a whole lot of notes here for his final thoughts.
Well, it's my baseball time. I like the movie. Solid, hard 4 stars. I think it'd be higher. The ending felt rushed, and it felt like a couple times in the film where it thought something was going to be a plot point and it just sort of didn't. But it was just really enjoyable. Otherwise, I have more final baseball thoughts. I'll go with so for De Niro's performance as a baseball player, his hitting is fine, but his catcher form is a real oversight. And I'm sure they had some sort of, because the rest of the team plays like professionals. When he's catching, the minor thing is he's got his free hand in front of him, and he's going to get his fingers broken from a foul tip having that bare hand there. But the more egregious thing is when he's catching underhand instead of overhand. And so if he's actually doing that in a real game, that ball, you can't see this one on video, that ball is going to hit the palm and just go wild from there instead of the proper overhand mitt style. Anyway,
can I stop you here? Just because I noticed that too, but I just assumed that it was unusual. Does nobody catch like that? Does no professional baseball player catch like that?
It would be, you'd give up a lot of runs that way.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's interesting.
I enjoyed, I know it wasn't a baseball movie per se, but I enjoyed so many aspects of it. I liked the brief archive cameo footage of Hall of Famers Tony Perez and Brooks Robinson. I thought it was funny that the team pretending to be the Yankees was playing all that games in Shea Stadium, because 2 years later, the Yankee Stadium closed for a year to be renovated, and the real Yankees played their games in Queens in the Met Stadium. Fun fact on the team name, the Mammoths, they're called that because in the novel, the team is based on the New York Giants, Mammoth being a synonym for giant.
Okay.
But the novel was written in like 1955, and the Giants moved to San Francisco in the 60s. So they just pivoted to the Yankees, and that mercifully, I believe, is all my baseball facts. Good film, 4 stars.
Okay, Philip coming in with the hard 4. What about you, Mike? What did you think of Bang the Drum Slowly?
I really, really liked this film. I think that it is reaching for greatness, but I think it ultimately fails to achieve it because, to Philip's comment during his final thoughts, it's a little meandering and unfocused, and I think that thematically, the territory that it tries to cover is really heady and kind of demands a little bit more of an incisive script, I guess. Ultimately, all right, I mean, this is a pretty powerful story. It's not really a baseball film. This is a film about men coming of age, essentially, right? I mean, the journey that Arthur goes on, the journey that Bruce goes on to a certain extent, although he's a bit more childlike in the way that he's depicted by De Niro in the film, is from ragging on people, as he says he's not going to do anymore in the final line of the film, to seeing his fellow men as essentially his competitors for positive attention from baseball club and from the kind of baseball world more generally, to understanding that really the only people who you can have that kind of real meaningful kinship and connection with are your fellow men, your fellow players. And in the end, Arthur is the only one who really prioritizes Bruce. He puts his interests before Bruce's interests before his own in the baseball club, and he's loyal to him through to the end. And it's really powerful. I just don't know that the film is focused enough for that really to be the only thing that you think about. And I think that is a little bit of a failure on the film's part. But I really love its melodrama. I love the cheesy TV score. That's the kind of shit that I really love. I love the kind of vanilla cinematography. I think that De Niro's performance is fantastic. I think Moriarty's performance is fantastic. We said at the top of the pod that this is an actor whom we haven't seen in many films before. And I was really struck by him. Maybe want to watch more stuff that he's been in, especially at this relatively early era of his career, and really overall just a great film that doesn't quite reach that hallowed 4.5, 5-star territory. So I too am going to give it 4 stars. What about you, Mike?
Wow, yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything you said there, Mike. And I really struggled between, is this a good film or a great film? Because I really like its tone. I like the performances. I like the story. I like how it avoids some of the stereotypical trappings of this sort of film. There's no giant inspirational speech or really overly sentimental scenes. It felt very grounded and naturalistic in a way that I really enjoyed. But yeah, the movie felt a little slight. Like sometimes it felt like not much was happening dramatically.
Yep.
And while I found it emotionally effective, I do kind of wish we saw more of the, dynamic between all of the teammates and a bit more about Arthur and Bruce's relationship. And honestly, because you're right, they spend so much time not even mentioning what Bruce's diagnosis is. I think it might have been helpful to include a little bit more about his struggle with that diagnosis, or kind of just what it's like to live with that. It's interesting the ways that, creatively in which they choose to not comment on some of these things. But I really respected it. I enjoyed it. I found it very engaging from start to finish. And that's definitely, it's tough with this sort of slower, gentler kind of narrative. It really runs the risk of being boring, but I didn't think that was the case at all. And I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5.
It's one of the better films we've seen for the podcast. Like, I think that at the end, it will rank relatively highly. It's a really good early De Niro film. It's gotta be, we haven't seen many films from this era, but it's certainly the earliest good one that we've seen, I think, like that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree, as I like to say. What about you, Philip? You think this is one of the better films we've seen for the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, you've watched a ton of them. You've listened to all the episodes of the podcast, so yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it.
You have to. In order to be a guest on this podcast, you have to listen to all of the episodes and pay us $2,000.
Yeah. And I did.
One of those things is true, right?
Oh, shit. I forgot. I haven't told Mike about the $2,000. But on that note, it's time for us to move over to our next segment, recommendations. I'm really excited for the recommendations this week.
Me too.
But, we need to start with our guest once again. Philip, what recommendation are you bringing to watch in addition to Bang the Drum Slowly?
Yeah, in addition to when you and I were out at the bar the other night, I enjoyed what if my recommendation for Bang the Drum Slowly was Whiplash. And I just watched your face slowly go, I don't get... Oh, okay. I get it now. Watching the unfolding of your face was very enjoyable. My recommendation...
I forgot that it was a drum-related movie.
Yeah. You got there, though. The best jokes are the one you got to explain. My recommendation is the 1988 film 8 Men Out with, I believe, John Cusack. It's been a while since I watched it. I remember it was good.
He couldn't be bothered to look up who the star of the film was before he recommended it.
It could be John Cusack.
All I know is it was a good film, and I'm more interested in the story because it is one of the better baseball films. It is about the 1919 Chicago White Sox that were famously known as the Chicago Black Sox. And the origin story of that is that their owner was so cheap, Charles Comiskey was so cheap that he didn't even pay for the Sox to be washed. And because he was so cheap and it's Chicago and the mob was big, the mafia bribed 7 of the Black Sox players to throw the World Series. The 8th one in the movie is Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was one of the great players of the time. And there's a tragedy element to it because history seems to show that he was not throwing it, and he had the highest batting average of anyone in the series, but he got blackballed and it kind of just ruined his life after that. And like the Lou Gehrig story, it's one of the great famous stories of baseball history. And I do remember it being a good film. So that's my recommendation.
It's a great recommendation.
It's a great recommendation, and I'm happy to confirm that it does indeed star John Cusack.
Yeah.
I just love not having information handy that would be like 2 of the first 6 or 7 words in any Google search results that you would get if you looked for the movie.
I looked up the year about 5 minutes ago, so...
Well, you just would have had to read only 2 or 3 more words to get to John Cusack, I'd bet.
Or be more confident in knowing it, yeah.
What's crazy is I actually know a bit about that whole situation. I've actually read some Wikipedia articles about it. I don't know how I ended up there. Normally, I like to read Wikipedia articles about devastating earthquakes and airplane crashes, but somehow I found myself reading about that whole situation, and it's quite interesting. So I look forward to watching that movie at some point. Time to go over to Mike. Mike, what is your recommendation this week in addition to Bang the Drum Slowly?
Listen, we're all going to have a good laugh, okay? But I think at the end of the day, I think we're going to agree that it's a pretty high quality recommendation. I am recommending today, in addition to Bang the Drum Slowly, the 2025 Noah Baumbach film, Jay Kelly.
Oh, fuck you.
What? I'm giving you a week off. It's nice. You already watched it. I'm kind of rewarding you for already having watched one of my recommendations that wasn't a recommendation on the podcast. So Jay Kelly, as I said, it's a Noah Baumbach film. It only came out like 6 or 7 months ago. It was an Oscar movie, or what we thought might be an Oscar movie last year before it got 0 nominations in any category. It stars George Clooney and Adam Sandler. They play opposite each other. George Clooney is an aging, fading movie star who has made all the wrong decisions in his life, and Adam Sandler is his essentially abused, maligned, doting manager. And it's really about a lot of the same things as Bang the Drum Slowly. It's about realizing that human companionship and friendship and family and camaraderie are the only things that you have, that, perceived debt to institutions, even to institutions wherein you are vaunted at one point in your career, ultimately has no durability. Those people aren't going to come to your funeral, right? And it's about a complicated male friendship kind of coming into its most fruitful era, and about a man, Jay Kelly, though at a much later stage in his life than Arthur was in Bang the Drum Slowly, learning to be a man, right? Certainly a case of Arrested Development for, I think, seemingly supposed to be 60-year-old Jay Kelly in the film. But it was a Mike Back At You 3.5 star and a Mike the Fab 4.5 star. I love Jay Kelly. It's a hot take, but it has all those kinds of general thematic points of connection with Bang the Drum Slowly, but importantly, stylistically, it shares a lot with Bang the Drum Slowly as well. It certainly is a much more artful film from a directorial and cinematographic perspective, but it too, like Bang the Drum Slowly, is a heavy melodrama. So, there you go. I strongly recommend Jay Kelly.
Sure. I have already seen it. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you thought my rationale for the recommendation was good, right?
I think it makes sense. It all tracks.
I knew we'd all have a good laugh.
It was also filmed in Yankee Stadium.
What part of it?
He's getting
That's pretty good.
He's joshing
You got me. I was like, I've seen the movie. I just watched it a few months ago. I was like, I don't remember that at all.
All right, well, that's a fun recommendation from Mike the Fab, and now it's time to turn things over to me, the host of this episode, to get into my recommendation for a film to watch in addition to Bang the Drum Slowly. I hope everyone has locked their bets in place in their online gambling platform of choice, Kalshi, Poly Market, whatever it might be, the local OTB place outside of your home. I'm not recommending Moneyball.
Oh, good. Sucky movie.
He's only not recommending it because he knew that I was going to call it.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't recommend it because it felt too obvious of a choice. Listen, I love Moneyball. We all know I love Moneyball, and God willing, I'll find a way to recommend it later in the podcast. Yep. But I was thinking about Bang the Drum Slowly tonally, and I actually came up with what I think is a much more thematic sibling to the film in spirit. So I'm actually recommending the 2024 independent baseball film, a.k.a. directed by Carson Lund. So this movie follows 2 amateur recreational baseball teams playing what might be the final game ever held at their local field in New England before it's demolished. And it's very much, an indie dramedy kind of film. There's really almost no traditional plot in the Hollywood sense. It's mostly made up of conversations in the dugout, little arguments and jokes between teammates and people reflecting. It's a pretty melancholic film, although there is a lot of humor there. And it has kind of just an offbeat strangeness to it in a very endearing way. And I think that, what made me think of it over Moneyball is that both it and Bang the Drum Slowly are both movies that use baseball less as a source of excitement and more as a backdrop for exploring, friendship, mortality, and the passage of time, which is really nice. I like when sports movies aren't about sports. That's why I like Moneyball. Moneyball is not about baseball. It's about Moneyball. But it's why I like both of these films too. I watched it a few months ago, earlier this year. I think it is well worth the watch. It's a quiet, deadpan film. It's very reflective, a little melancholic, but also funny and entertaining. I recommend a.k.a.
It's a great recommendation. I don't think I've ever heard of it, honestly. It sounds nice, though.
That's why I'm here, man. I'm operating at such a high level with my recommendations. Anyone could recommend Moneyball. You could have recommended Moneyball. You recommended Jay Kelly, but the point stands, you could have recommended Moneyball. Only I could have recommended a.k.a.
I think only I could have recommended Jay Kelly.
That is true. That I will give you.
Only I could have recommended 8 Men Out.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I bring to the podcast.
That's what. Listen, you all bring something special and unique to the podcast.
So true.
All right, and with that, it's time to move over to our final segment of the episode, rolling for next week's film. Mike, it's your turn to roll this week, and what are you hoping to roll this time?
I mean, I think that it's incredibly obvious this time, right? We've got Philip, a.k.a. Lips, here today. I think the funniest thing would be for him to come right back next week. So I am hoping to roll number 40, Joker.
Okay, I'm not, but, whatever floats your boat, buddy.
Okay, and I am going to roll now. We're looking for lucky number 40, Joker. Holy shit, I have rolled 39. We came so
that
close.
That was really close. Damn.
Yeah. And it is Hands of Stone. Hands of Stone is a 2016 biographical sports film about the career of Panamanian former professional boxer Roberto Duran. It is directed and written by Jonathan Jakubowicz.
Probably
this guy. It stars Edgar Ramirez, Robert De Niro, Usher, Ruben Blades, Pedro Budu Perez, Ellen Barkin, Ana de Armas, Oscar Yaneda, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Oscar, and John Turturro. Budget of 20 million, box office of 5, and a 44 on Rotten Tomatoes, which, if I recall, was the same score Las Vegas had just a couple of weeks ago.
So you know it's going to be quality.
Well, maybe you'll have as much to say about it as you had about Las Vegas, huh?
A brief moment of lucidity for me.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right. Guess we're going to watch Hands of Stone next week. And on that note, I think it's time for us to wind this episode down. Philip, how did it feel being a guest yet again on the Our Hero De Niro podcast?
Felt better than the second and much better than the first.
That's what I recall feeling in the first 3 episodes, too.
Yeah. So just do like 74 more and then you'll feel as good as us.
Can't wait.
I think we might need to start a sequel series and a threequel series to reach that point.
Pacino pals.
The Rafe Riders.
The Rafe Riders, the Pacino pals, the Man Men. There are a lot of options, guys, you know.
Something with John Cusack.
The Man Men is really good, too, because it would be really short. We'd be done with it in like 3-4 months, probably. Michael Mann doesn't have that many movies.
Yeah, it'd be a pleasure from start to finish.
It would be. It would be great. Even the bad ones are great.
That's what makes it less attractive as a project than Our Hero De Niro. The point is that De Niro has a lot of bad films, you know? Although in retrospect, I didn't realize how many bad films he has. And I was kind of reflecting on this in the shower a few nights ago, where I was just like, oh, I'm kind of inadvertently doing a bad film podcast, which is like not a thing I would ever have willingly, like consciously chosen to do. But 2/3 of his films are bad.
Yeah, it's a bad hit rate. Yeah, I agree. I just said that to my mom earlier. She sent me a Robert De Niro quote. I'll read you guys the quote. It was very wise. He said...
The quote was, I'll do anything for $100,000.
I have seen people come and go. Be calm when things are going well. Don't think you're on top of the world. Everybody is dispensable. And I responded, yes, he's very wise. It's a shame he's in so many bad movies. And that's what I think.
Well, Bang the Drum Slowly was good, and maybe Hands of Stone will be
very good one. I agree.
This could be the start of a hot streak.
God willing.
Yeah, sure. Well, on that note, I think it's time to read us out. I want to take this time to thank all the great citizens of De Niro Nation who listen week in and week out to the podcast. I'd especially like to thank Philip, a.k.a. Lips, for being our guest this week.
You're welcome.
He's one of our best citizens of De Niro Nation, really, if you think about it.
That's true. Yeah, conscripted into service time and time again. And we'll see him one last time for Joker whenever we roll that in the future. I'd also like to thank Caroline for her wonderful podcast artwork. Please follow Mike and I on Letterboxd. I'm Mike back at you. He's Mike the Fab. Oh, and you can follow Philip too. He's Philip M. Logger, as in film logger. Get it? It's quite clever. Check us out online at ourherodeniro.com. Email us at mike@ourherodeniro.com. Rate us 5 stars in your podcast app of choice. And we'll be back at you next week with an episode dedicated to Hands of Stone.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Let's all hit the showers.